Hi, I'm Alan Bresnick from Light Reading. We're here in Atlanta at SCTE Cable Tech Expo. We're at the VIAVI booth, and I'm talking to Koji Okamoto. Hi, Koji.
Alan, nice to see you.
Good to see you again. So both at your booth and all around the show, we're hearing a lot about remote PHY and DAA in general.
Yes.
What's your perspective on rollouts that you're seeing and the impact it's going to have on plant maintenance?
Yes, so it's obvious it's everywhere right now. I'll say maybe compared to 2 years ago and last year. 2 years ago it was about just more the conceptual stage.
Right.
I think last year was kind of development. This year I see more like actual testing of the real devices. Mm-hmm. And then we really seen the trial going on now and towards the end, almost next 2 months or so. And I'll see probably pretty good sizable chunks start coming out and the major operators rolling out next calendar year.
Okay, so 2019 is a big year.
Yeah, I think so, because it practically hasn't really deployed yet. So, operators are all looking at how you're going to operationalize this.
Right.
And a big piece of this is changing from the analog to digital optics, and there's many changes that happen based upon it.
Right.
So they're trying to work all that stuff out first.
So what will the impact be of all these rollouts on plant maintenance?
Yeah, so biggest thing is they just lose the visibility into the RF coming back from the field, which is still the operational maintenance technician needs it to do their job every day.
Right.
And this transition happens in the next probably 10 years. So some, 10% of the network could be DAA and then 90% could be something else. So you need to gracefully transition this over without giving the technician to have a completely different workflow so they can migrate over between those 2 points. So we created more of the virtual solution and start embedding a test agent into the DAA, so that allow us to see these critical parameters in order for them to maintain their network and troubleshoot and so on.
Okay, so given all that, what is VIAVI doing to help support operators through this transition?
Yeah. Other piece on top of just the portion I mentioned is mostly the DAA facing to the customer side. There are more impact actually going backward as well in technology perspective. Now the field guys need to start testing the fiber and more Ethernet.
Right.
So that's a big deal, that's a new transition. So technology-wise, that's a big influence. The other intangible impact, the disruptiveness actually we're seeing is organizational boundaries. So what's happening is you just separated the CMTS function into two pieces. It used to be in the big iron into the hub side.
Right.
You move the RF portion, for example, in the remote PHY into the node, and then the MAC piece could be on the data center. So it used to be owned by let's say the field technicians and the head end and the hub technicians. Now some of that go into the data center. So if it doesn't work, which work group responsible for it? Could you separate the function into two locations? So organization is not built to troubleshoot today. So we were helping them to figure out how to be able to segment the problems with more virtual agent throughout the network for Ethernet testing, for example,
right,
as well as the fiber mode integrity testing between the hub side to the DAA. And the other piece of this the operator are asking us is they want to have flexibility if deploying a different type of vendor and architecture, because every vendor has its advantage and what they do best, and depending on their current architecture, they start picking and choosing. So the challenge is, how would the operator manage multi-architectural and multi-vendor scenario?
right.
So we created the alliance program with us and all the NEMs and enable the interoperability so the operator can really have the way to manage the multi-vendor scenario much better based upon the strength of each of the NEMs have.
Right. You haven't really had to do that before.
No.
There hasn't been multiple vendors like this before.
Yeah, it's correct. And then the biggest piece of this is you lose the visibility of these testing, so operator needs these to operationalize. They can't deploy these devices
Right.
without having a way to maintain and manage. And they want to do it in a consistent way across all the vendors. So we are here to help them to basically bridge between those points, test side and then all the NEMs.
Okay. And besides the vendors, how about managing all the contractors?
Okay. That's a great question too, because a lot of contractors do a lot of work on this deep fiber work.
Right.
So we're finding out that quite a bit of the contractor really need the help on the fiber testing piece of it. Mm-hmm. And there's and also on the Ethernet portion, because now it's becoming the fiber, which is the physical layer, and then now you're going to have Ethernet on top.
Right.
So all these testing needs to be managed And in terms of the processes, so hey, I would like this contract to test X, Y, and Z, so you have a way to control what's being done.
Right.
And so we worked quite hard in the last 3 years or so to get the vision of cloud-enabled test systems such that all the data from either the RF side of the fence or Ethernet or fiber can move up into the cloud to enable the operator to manage both contractors as well as the direct work group in a very consistent way.
So now operators will be able to manage both multiple vendors and multiple contractors.
Yes, and we're finding out some of the major operators rolled out some of the deep fiber and FTTH. When they did not have these processes enabled, we've seen as much as 30 to 40% non-compliant after they being built, which is a huge cost. So now going back and redoing all these tests, which could have done in the first place.
Right. Okay, Koji, always a pleasure.
No, thank you. I
Thank you.
appreciate your time.